Hello, and thanks for tuning into our podcast. I'm Luke.
I'm Ryan. I'm Jacob.
I'm Connor.
This week we're talking about which cell service is the best. But we have set some, We've set some boundaries because you can go really far with this. So we have 4 lines of 4G LTE unlimited talk and text data per line. We found out the price and benefits for getting it. So let's start off with Verizon.
All right, so Verizon, it's $40 per line, but that's plus taxes and fees. So it's going to come to about $165 per month for 4 lines, and that's in 4 gig LTE unlimited. And it comes with no benefits necessarily, but it does have better quality and wider service.
I just have something to add to that. My family uses Verizon, and between the 4 phones we had with renting, so we were leasing 2 iPhone 8s and then 4 lines of unlimited data, and it was over $200, and we were only leasing 2 phones. So 2 of the phones were already paid off. So it's pretty pricey.
Yes, it's the most expensive of the 4 lines, but it has probably the best quality.
And best service.
And the best service. So now we're going to move on to Sprint.
Nope, AT&T. Alright, so AT&T is $160 a month. So that's less than Connor's, and that does include taxes and fees. But it comes with DirecTV with 35 live channels, movies, games, and streaming. My family personally has AT&T, and we were able to get an awesome deal in 2016 where we got an iPhone 6S and an iPhone 6S Plus, and when we did that, we got a free iPad mini that we are now using right now to look up stuff. So totally worth it. And it came with a SIM card in it, so we could use it without Wi-Fi. And it was probably one of the coolest things I've ever gotten. And it's really cool to just have an iPad that you can call people with. Some other stuff about AT&T that we've learned is that AT&T has spotty coverage. In some places, it's the best coverage you could ask for. And in other places, it's the worst. There's a movie theater in our town that if you go there, we get dead service. We don't get anything. But then my friend who I went to the movie theater with has Verizon, and he had all 5 bars. So it's really spotty. Does anyone else have any experience with AT&T?
No.
No, but I do have some experience with DirecTV. And what I have to say is there are less options than with cable, but cable is super duper expensive. So it's just on the other side of the coin. They're about equal.
Connor, what phone service do you have?
I don't know. I have AT&T actually.
Oh, you have AT&T?
Yeah.
So Connor is AT&T as well. And AT&T is, in my opinion, pretty good. Do you have anything to say about it?
It's decent. It acts up if I'm walking around half the time. It acts up because there's some spots it's good, and then you move around.
It can be really spotty.
It's
But overall, I think that's a pretty good network. Moving on to T-Mobile.
Okay, so for T-Mobile, $160 for your 4 lines. So it's a similar price to AT&T and Verizon, but now this includes Samsung Galaxy S9s on every line.
Yeah, so if you have 4 lines, you're getting 4 quote-unquote free S9s.
Or without the S9s, it's $35 a line. So, and then one of T-Mobile's really big things that they're trying to sell, they give you free Netflix for 6 months or a year or whatever when you switch to T-Mobile.
Netflix is great, guys.
Let's
just talk about how great Netflix is.
And they also have unlimited streaming, so you can watch your Netflix anywhere on your brand new Samsung Galaxy S9.
But let's talk about T-Mobile's service.
So
it's crappy. I know a family who I know pretty well has T-Mobile, and it's interesting because in one area of town they have great, and on the other side it's terrible. So once again, T-Mobile is pretty spotty. So most of these things are actually pretty spotty when you think about it. But again, it all depends on how many service towers they've purchased and how they're laid out.
Yeah.
We do have some information. Do you have any other information to share about T-Mobile? Any other fun facts you learned about, or anything you wanted to share?
Well, that's really just about it. You get free phone. You get
Free phone?
Netflix. Well, not necessarily
Not free, quote
but
unquote.
included. You get your included phone. You get your Netflix. You get your streaming stuff, and it's unlimited. All these are unlimited. So
Do you have experience with T-Mobile? Anybody here have experience with T-Mobile?
He was our quarterback for 3 years, and he was terrible. Tyler Taylor. His nickname is T-Mobile. Yeah.
All right, moving on to Sprint with Ryan.
Okay, so Sprint, unlike the others actually, is only $100 for 5 lines.
4 lines.
4 lines.
120.
If you
Or
do
no,
five.
it was 100.
It was $100 if you got 4 lines. Or no.
$100 for 5 lines.
Yeah, so really it'd be more like 75 if you're
Yeah,
putting it
and
with our
but
The
the
website
only
didn't say how
super
much it
great
would be.
advantage was that it has Hulu, and then it just had your unlimited talk and text data and all that stuff that all the other things have. And so right now I'm looking at a site called Top 10 Reviews, and Sprint, it says, what? Yeah. It says Sprint has a 7.70 out of 10. So a 7.7 out of 10 ranking. So it's 5th in the cell phone providers. But some pros that it does have is that it is the cheapest out of the top 4 providers.
Out of
So-
your 4 big providers.
Out of Verizon, AT&T,
You gotta
T-Mobile.
remember here, you gotta remember for a second. There are hundreds of phone providers, but these are the big 4 in our area.
Yeah, at least in our area, these are the ones in the Northeast region that, give you.
That are pretty big.
So
Yes.
that's one pro. It's the cost. It's the least costly. But a con is it's not the greatest
So it's
cell
kind of
service.
it's like
not the
T-Mobile
greatest
kind of
service.
yeah.
Yes.
Although I'd say,
And-
at least in our area, there's a lot of stores, so if you do have a problem, there is a place to go.
Same thing with AT&T. There's a lot of stores in our area.
And Verizon. Not
Yeah.
necessarily T-Mobile, though.
But
There's one T-Mobile, I think.
their
Yes.
services, it's
I think
it's
by Five
definitely
Guys.
one of the best places to go if you can get good service on it, because it's just way the cheapest. You could get your whole family of 5 people with a phone with an unlimited plan
For $100.
instead of going to Verizon or T-Mobile and stuff, having $160 to $100. And if you're in a spot where you can get good service, go for it, because it's definitely the best choice.
Also, I've seen you can lease phones there for $5 a month.
Yeah, so phone pricing isn't too bad.
So I'd say for a family who doesn't use their phones a ton, it's the best choice because of the price.
But we're just going to go over the top 10 on the top 10 reviews. Number 1, everyone guess. Let's do this little guessing game. Who thinks number 1 provider is?
Verizon.
Verizon. Correct.
And I'm pretty sure this is ranked in terms of service and not price.
Okay, 2.
I'm gonna
AT&T.
say AT&T.
It's T-Mobile. 3.
AT&T.
3 is AT&T. 4.
Metro PCS.
Yeah. 5.
Sprint.
6.
Boost.
Yeah. How about 7?
Cricket.
Yeah, Cricket Wireless. Yeah, and then the rest I don't even know what the heck they are. So, the rest are useless. So, now we're going to go around the circle and tell our personal opinion on which one is best, starting with Connor.
All right, so Verizon has a 9.08 rating because you heard Ryan say earlier that
Sprint had a 7.7.
Sprint had a 7.7 rating, and it's first in cell phone providers. And so I just learned that its individual unlimited plan, if you get 4 gigs, is with taxes is actually $90
For one line.
for 1 line. And then your family unlimited with 4 lines, if you get it in 4 gig with taxes, is $220.
Yeah, that's what my family was happening.
So, Connor, would you recommend Verizon?
Yes, if you use your phone a lot, it's perfect for you. But if you don't use it, I would suggest switching to a cheaper network
Like
because it's
Sprint.
the most
Sprint,
expensive.
exactly. Sprint is like
The
the
cheap one.
cheapest.
Okay.
And you can
You
get
guys
like
get your
$5
opinions later.
iPhones.
You guys get your opinions later. So, yes or no ranking, yay or nay for Verizon?
I would actually rank it as the second best.
So, would you say yay or nay? That's my question.
Yay.
Yay. Okay, moving on to AT&T. They have an 8.45 overall rating out of 10. I personally have AT&T, and it is a yay. It works good. Once again, I told you it's kind of spotty sometimes, but it's normally pretty good.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead with Sprint.
Nope, T-Mobile.
So for T-Mobile, top 10
Real life.
reviews gives it an 8.68 out of 10. And I feel like, it has T-Mobile. You can get your phones for the same price as no phones. So I feel like price-wise, it's a yay, but service-wise, it's a nay.
So you'd give it a yeah.
Mm,
You'd give it a yeah. So Jacob's in the middle ground then.
yeah, it may be rated number 2 on this, but I
I don't think it deserves.
I
a
don't
number 2
think
spot.
the ends just I don't think it's just the price
Yeah.
justifies the spotty service.
Okay. Well, I'm actually gonna finally do Sprint now. So
Yes, it's
Sprint.
finally Sprint.
It depends. Like I said earlier, it depends on what area. It's a nay.
What's the rating?
It's of course I already said this, but it's a 7.7. But
too bad.
it'll be a yay if you have it in an area where you can get a lot of service because it's like the cheapest area, like it's the cheapest cellular service and all that.
If you live near Chicago, it's a yay. If you live in Georgia, it's a yay. But along the Appalachians
It gets really spotty. Can I say this?
in the western
It
U.S.
gets really kind of spotty towards Las Vegas, and I'm trying to think Colorado, Utah. It's pretty spotty.
And also, if you go over in New York, there's a pretty big spot.
Same
in
thing
the
in-
Rocky Mountain. Not the Rock, the Adirondack
Adirondacks.
Mountains.
And there's a pretty big spot in Washington. Dallas looks pretty good, and then obviously AT&T or Sprint does not cover,
The Rocky Mountains.
mountains. But hey, while we're looking at maps, let's take a look at our favorite AT&T. Let's take a look at their map and see how well they do. What do you guys think?
I think it'll cover most of the eastern, and the western will be spotty because it's hard to cover mountainous areas.
Okay, so what we can tell from the map.
Technical
is-
difficulties. There is no map, so let's just say it's good enough.
Yes.
So where were we? Oh yeah, you were talking about yay or nay for T-Mobile, or no, yay or nay for Sprint. Right?
I'd go. If you live anywhere in the eastern or mid area, it's a yay.
Especially mid
But in the
Chicago
western area,
area.
it's a nay.
Yeah, Chicago. Great. We were looking at the map. It was
great.
all.
So we're just gonna go around the circle one last time because I think I missed somebody. So Connor, yay or nay for Verizon?
I'm gonna say yay.
T-Mobile, Sprint,
Yay.
AT&T, yay. So in our personal opinion, I think AT&T is the best.
Verizon.
I think in terms of service, definitely Verizon, but I would probably personally go with Sprint.
And Connor, best one for you?
I'm gonna say Sprint.
So we have 2 Sprints, 1 AT&T, and 1 Verizon. Therefore, meaning we have come to a final verdict that Verizon is the best. It can be expensive, but it's worth the price. Do you guys agree?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna talk about Verizon's map. Verizon has fully covered most of the east and central, but again, near the Rocky Mountains, it gets a little shoddy.
A little.
And I would say it has probably the best coverage overall.
It does look pretty good. Looking at the map, it does look pretty decent. Although there are some spots like
Texas.
in Texas and
in
West
the DC
Virginia.
area. That's the no, not
that's
that.
kind of DC. Yeah. That's
And
DC.
also Maine.
tip to top of the Maine is pretty bad. But
And then,
it's
like-
kind of our average area where we said Appalachians, Rocky Mountains. They're pretty sketchy. Moving
But
on.
Appalachians aren't actually that sketchy, so.
No, but let's talk about Alaska for a second.
Alaska
It
is
has like
not covered.
yeah,
It's-
like it's only toward like where Juneau is.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna look up the AT&T map, and we're gonna go in the same order that we've been talking about. What do you guys think the AT&T map is gonna look like?
I think it's gonna be like.
Relatively the same, but like a
It's
little
gonna
bit
be
more bigger
a
area.
little bit worse than Verizon.
But I feel like it'll still be better than
All right,
some of the
so I have to tell you the 4G. So the AT&T actually does cover Puerto Rico.
other. Covers Puerto Rico.
Hawaii looks pretty good. Again, with Alaska, it's right around Juneau. And but if you look at it, it looks pretty well covered. There's
certain
dark,
areas that
dark blue on this map represents 4G, and then there's a lighter blue, and the lighter blue kind of covers most of the map, and there's some darker spots. So like near us, there's a lot of empty spots near Maine and Alaska, but Hawaii's pretty well covered.
So it's pretty much for the most part covered with something.
Yeah, it's not like
It's mainly
Verizon,
a
where
lot
it's-
of it is 2G though, and then the
but
Rockies are not.
at least it's covered.
At least it's covered.
Because
And I-
unlike other things, it's not even covered, and it's like
And I feel like that's why we're getting like we're getting that spottiness with AT&T because it's not
Yeah,
consistent
it's not-
4G.
it's not consistent. Moving on to T-Mobile, let's take a look at that.
T-Mobile. Yeah, so we just looked at this a little bit ago and it wasn't that
It doesn't
great.
look great. My guess is that it's not super coverage-y, but it's probably not going to be. It's not going to be the greatest, guaranteed.
Yeah.
So he's pulling up the map right now. We're just having some Wi-Fi issues.
Yeah.
Courtesy of AT&T,
Oh,
Wi-Fi issues.
We're not on cellular right now.
We're just on Wi-Fi. All right. What is it loading at all?
You know what? This is not a very good map.
No. That was a good
came
map.
up for a second. It came as I was leaving the page. It came up. You know that's just great, isn't that? That's
It's because it's T-Mobile, guys.
it's T-Mobile.
It's
It's
'cause
like
T-Mobile.
it doesn't pop up until you put on this. Oh yeah, this is great. I mean, we've got state lines. We've even got
State names too. If you need that.
see.
Oh, we're loading.
It's
It's loading. We're loading.
So what we can tell is there's kind of like a line.
There we go.
oh okay. Oh boy.
Okay, so it's okay. So
Okay, this
towards
is-
the northeast, it looks pretty good so far. And they do cover into Mexico, by the way, guys, and some parts of Canada.
Yeah.
Just wanted to shoot that out there. Go ahead.
So what we've got, most of the northeast is actually covered. It's spotty in parts,
The Appalachians and the
and also at the top of Maine is a little spotty.
well, hasn't it been spotty through all the networks we've looked at? It's been
Yes,
spotty near the
it's-
top of Maine. So maybe it's just not settled well enough.
Mexico has covered, especially around Mexico City, but
We're not really talking about Mexico. We're just
Yeah.
kind of talking about the main U.S.
So main U.S. central, like northern and like the Dakotas and Minnesota and Nebraska look pretty good. When you get towards Missouri and Mississippi, it's a little spottier.
Yeah, and then the further you move west, the worse it looks.
Yeah.
So by LA, it looks pretty bad. It's kind of like it kind of fades out almost.
yes.
Technical difficulties.
Yes, because the website is pretty slow. Okay, well actually, the cities like San Diego and LA and San Francisco are covered.
So your big cities are okay.
But that's really just about it. Because especially towards Washington, Oregon, Idaho areas, we really got no coverage at all in big areas. Like, it's like only 60% covered. It's about 60% covered west of the Dakotas. So,
So it looks pretty decent. but it's again we lose everything west of the Dakotas. Moving on to Sprint, and this will be our last conversation. We're just gonna find out how that looks, and Ronnie's gonna tell us how that looks.
Okay, so right of now I am pulling the network up, but it's a little slow still. So
We're on Wi-Fi.
This
No, we're totally on T-Mobile.
Yeah, we're on T-Mobile.
okay, so the map.
Okay, this one also does the thing where it shows strength of coverage.
Yeah, so you have
Hey, is Puerto Rico covered?
Puerto Rico
Rico's-
is covered.
Puerto
in this.
Rico's covered. Okay.
And
So
so, is
is
Hawaii.
Mexico or Canada?
Hawaii. It doesn't
Mexico is not on
show-
nor Canada. Okay. So
Yes.
It's
But it does show that Alaska isn't covered pretty much at all.
So
Okay,
what,
so
what we
Alaska's
can see from here is it's really good in the east, but unlike the other cases, it's like really bad in like a lot of the areas in the west, and only like certain areas where there's like cities,
like major cities. Like,
There's
that's
major
the only
cities that
by
have,
LA, it looks pretty good.
yeah, there's like 4G areas, and then there's just like nothing.
and up like north by like Montana,
Montana?
and Wyoming, it's like not there.
Yeah, Montana has roaming coverage, but that's it.
Yeah, it's not very good.
It looks pretty spotty. So, on the basis of the map, Verizon, yay or nay?
Yay.
Verizon.
Verizon? Yeah, I guess. Verizon has
Yay.
great coverage.
So our overall vote is Verizon. How about AT&T? What do you give it? Yay,
I'm
nay,
gonna
or
say A.
You're gonna say eh.
Nah.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay. T-Mobile.
Nay.
Horsey.
Nay.
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 20 times nay.
Sprint.
Sprint. Connor. Sprint.
Nay.
If you live in Chicago, yay, but that's just about it.
Nay. Nay.
All
So
nays.
it's come to a conclusion that Verizon is the best coverage. It can be expensive, but
And Sprint is the most horse, and then you got your other two who are mostly set.
And then you have Chicago, which has really good
coverage for all of the horrible
It's
networks.
because it's a city and because it's flat. So they get a lot
Is
of.
the Earth flat?
Well,
Do-do-do-do.
there's no mountains. There's no mountains.
Is the Earth flat? That will be
Be
our
the
next
next
topic.
epic. We'll see y'all next time. Peace out.